All right, so something to chew on, okay? Why would God create the scientific laws in such a way that when you combine this and this, okay, you get drugs? Why did God create the molecules, the atoms and the molecular structures in such a way that when they're created, they do these certain effects? Okay. Now, if you're going to say God didn't do that, then you have a very small view of God. Who created the molecules, the atoms and the molecules? Let's take sugar. I'll give you an easy one. Sugar. Who created carbon atoms? If you're an atheist, then God didn't. But if you're a Christian, you have to say God did. Who created hydrogen? If you're a Christian, you have to say God. Who created oxygen? If you're a Christian, you have to say God. So who created glucose? Who decided, who decreed, if you're a Christian, that when you put 6 atoms of carbon and 12 atoms of hydrogen and 6 atoms of oxygen, that you get this thing called glucose? And this thing called glucose, it is in your blood, and you have to have a certain amount of it. You can have too much. Who ordained that? If you're an atheist, you're going to say, whatever, nature, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. But if you're a Christian, stop and think about this for a second. Who did it? Who decided? Or obviously God created the carbon and the hydrogen and the oxygen, and God ordained that when you have 6 and 12 and 6, that it creates glucose, and that glucose does all the things that glucose does. Okay. Now, let's get deep and dark here for a second. What about meth? What about methamphetamine? What about heroin? What about crack cocaine? Why would God create these molecules and have... He created the scientific laws. You can say it's man-made. Man did not say, we're going to put this together and we're going to give it these effects. Man put it together, and the effects happened the way that God created them to happen. Man did not decide what methamphetamine does. Okay? Man did not decide what glucose does. So why would God ordain these nasty drugs? Ask yourself this question.